Hi, my name is Kaifa Yates, and I'll be doing my final project on multicultural education. This is going to be answering or going with the project module of the questions of or the statement to do visiting a local K to 12 classroom or other educational setting to observe 2 to 3 classes. So I'm gonna go ahead and go, and I did mine on 2 different schools, and I'll talk a little bit about how multicultural education was prevalent or actually shown in the schools that I visited. All right. So for the first school that I visited, it was the California Montessori Project, the Capitol Campus. This is located on 2635 Chestnut Drive, Sacramento, California, 95826. This is actually not too far from Sac State, off of Folsom Boulevard, Folsom and Bicentennial. So yeah, it's not too far from my actual campus. So a little bit of background about the California Montessori Project. A little background about it is a kindergarten to eighth grade school. It populates to maybe over 400 students. They have they have 2 kindergarten classes. And for the Montessori, they do something a little bit different than other public schools. Instead of putting students in each grade, they actually put them in through their ages. And so, as you can see here, you can see 6 to 9. That would be the classes or the grade or the class that they'll be in based on their grade, based on their age. I mean, that would actually be for first, second, and third graders for 6 to 9. And so for the California Montessori Project, they have the Garibaldi class, they have the Golden Nugget, the Golden Trout, Gray Whale, Grizzly Bear, and Redwood. Those are all 6 to 9 classes that they have. The one that I observed was actually the the upper division classes. That was actually for the 9 to 12 class. The 9 to 12 class is still, again, is based off of their age. So for 9 year olds to 12 years old, and there were 1, 2, 3, 4. So they have the Blue Diamond class, Coloma, Eureka, and then the Golden Gate class. And the class that I observed was a Coloma class. And then they also have a middle school class. And the best thing I like about the California Montessori Project is how they named their classrooms. They named the classroom based off of California landmarks and animals and California trees. So, for example, you have the grizzly bear, you have gray whale, you have golden gay. So each class is called something from California. A little bit about the educational practice. The California Montessori Project provides an educational approach that is based on a scientific observation of children. The method views the child as the one who is naturally eager for knowledge and capable of initiating learning in a supportive, thoughtful, thoughtfully prepared learning environment. The objective of the school is to develop children physically, socially, emotionally, and cognitive learning. So this is actually a child-directed approach. So the students are allowed to roam around the classroom, make their own decisions based on the assignments that they're given. But the idea of the practice is based off of their own knowledge, right? They're eager to learn what they want to learn, and they're eager to move at any pace that they want to that they want to move. And so it's really independent learning. All right. So a little bit about the social context of the school. They have morning circle. So every morning, each classroom is provided a 30-minute discussion to go over assignments and projects. Each student has the opportunity to discuss any comments or issues they have in the classrooms. Um, Staff has the opportunity to discuss any comments or issues they have in the classroom as well. The times also allow the staff and students to discuss any issues on campus. So they could talk. So they could talk about what's going on in the classroom. They could talk about the assignments, the projects, the daily agenda for the day. Um, and so this allows more of an open discussion for the students. to be vulnerable, to learn about each other, learn about how to make their culture and make their environment more safe for themselves. And then I put here a little bit about the school motto. The school motto for the California Montessori Project is to be safe, offer peace, always respectful, and be responsible. So they actually learned this motto in the first 2 weeks of school. They do assignments on it, they practice it, and every student at the California Montessori Project know each of these mottos and their acronyms and what they stand for, and how they were going to be able to be effective in um, out of school. All right. So since we're talking about multicultural education, I wanted to kind of give a little bit of a synopsis, a little bit overview of what multicultural education means. And so I put here, CAP is an inclusive environment that allows each student to learn various cultures around the world. So what is multicultural education? It's a broad concept with several different and important dimensions. Banks, 2004. Practicing educators can use the dimensions as a guide to school reform when trying to implement multicultural education. The dimensions are content integration, the knowledge of a construction process, prejudice reduction, inequity pedagoggy, and empowering school culture and social structure. So I'm going to talk about actually two of those things that I saw that I observed while I was there, that I felt that worked well for the multicultural education and what we learned throughout this year and throughout these 8 weeks, reading the book and talking about it and having an open discussion. All right. So the first thing I noticed with the multicultural education that they have at the California Montessori Project is that they have content integration. And what is content integration? Content integration deals with the extent to which teachers use examples and content from a variety of cultures and groups to illustrate key concepts, principles, generalizations, and theories in their subject area or discipline. So, for example, at the California Montessori Project, they have social studies assignments that are taught in a broad concept where students have the ability to learn historical information through musical instruments and online videos implemented by their instructors. Once a year, this is something that they do every year, that the students host a human wax museum for parents. Students are able to present their own personal historical figure in the United States. Students choose from George Washington to Harriet Tubman. So this is actually an opportunity for students to kind of be as creative as they can be, and choose any culture and present that to the parents and the staff. And so I put a little picture here of what it looks like when they do it. Um, yeah, this is not actually a real picture of them, but it's actually a picture of like almost like a yeah like a picture I found that actually represents what they do. And so yeah, so that was content integration, and that's how I feel that they utilize multi education in their school by allowing students to utilize their own culture. So if you have students who are African American, you have students who are Jewish, you have students who are white, they can kind of go and they can research the historical figure that they feel is important in their lives, and they can present it to the school. All right. So with so also at the California Montessori Project, they have equity pedagogy, and what equity pedagogy exists when teachers modify their teaching in ways that will facilitate the academic achievement of students from diverse racial, cultural, gender, and social class groups. For example, CMP has two credentialed teachers in the classroom that supports their students' intellectual growth by providing multiple diverse teaching methods. Each teacher has their own unique strategy in facilitating the academic achievement of the students, various racial, culture, gender, and social class. One thing that I've noticed that they have gender roles. Gender roles are inclusive in this culture where all students are taught practical skills of washing dishes, cleaning, mechanical hands-on assignments, and etc. Instructors are also required to provide cultural lessons to the students every week. Students learn about different social classes through open discussions and in-class assignments. So they also CMP also has educational tools that they utilize in the classroom, such as the vision boards, grammar boxes, geometry boards, and reading comprehension index cards. And these are the two I felt that are shown at the California Montessori Project. Especially with equity, you want to make sure that you're providing all students the same opportunity to learn by thinking about their culture, thinking about their social class. And so with CMP, they really are mindful about that, and they make assignments based off of where they're at right now, at that moment in time. What I noticed also is that students could move up as much as possible. So, for example, if you're 6 years old and you're in the first grade, and if you are up to par to do second grade or third grade work, then you're able to do that at the first grade level. If you're at third grade and you're still struggling and you still need help with second grade or first grade, work, they will put you at first grade and second grade work, and just allow you to grow. And so this is all about equality education, and allowing everybody to feel secure and feel safe in their learning process. All right. And then they have equal education with disability students. And so what's that? What that means? Students who are physically, behavioral, or cognitive difference is considered a disability when it adversely affects a student's educational performance. Students who meet the diagnostic criteria for any of the following disability categories are entitled to special education, such as intellectual disabilities, learning disabilities, emotional disorder, autism, visual impairments, etc. All right, so with the CMP, I'm sorry I said two, but I did three. So the third one is actual, for example, CMP provides an equal education for all their students by providing them by providing them an educational resource room. The room that allows students with disability to be supported by 2 credentialed special education teachers and over 4 teacher assistants. The students are pulled out their classroom at various times throughout the day to get support in their class assignments. Students are also willing to utilize the room if they need to de-stress for the day by occupying themselves with activity in the room. Activities such as chess, Connect Four, reading, computer time, or snack. And so this is actually provided for the students as a room, or so what, as they call it, a resource room for students who are with disabilities to feel safe. And so if they have any kind of blowout, if they have any kind of issues inside the classroom, they can utilize that room at any time. The room is actually located closely to the cafeteria, so it's a little bit away from the rest of the classrooms, the rest of the school. So that's good for the students to kind of feel separated and feel like, hey, they're not, don't have to be embarrassed if they have a blowout, especially students who are emotionally disturbed. But the best thing about this process, of this strategy and this practice, is that students are not required to be in the room all day, right? So they're only required to come in every so often. They have a caseload, or maybe each student assistant has a caseload of maybe 10 to 12 students. And so they will see that caseload throughout the day inside their classroom. And if students need to get pulled out and be in the resource room, then they can get that assistance. And so it's all taught by 2 credentialed special education teachers. All right, and that was CMP. All right, the next one I will do, it will be Hazel Mahone, Fortune School of Education. Now, this one's located in Natomas, off of 3750 Rosen Court, Sacramento, California, 95834. All right. So with Hazel Mahone College Prep, a little bit of a background about them. They are a kindergarten to 6th grade classroom. The educational practice for Fortune is as a tuition-free, college preparatory, public charter school with 6 different campuses in California. Their primary mission is to close the African American achievement gap, and they achieve this goal through 5 different principles. They have 5 different principles, and that'd be high expectations, choice and commitment, more time. They focus on results and citizenship. A little bit about the social context. So the social context is the Black national anthem and the expectations. So every morning, students meet in the school cafeteria for a free breakfast, for the Black national anthem and the principal address to the school. So every student is required to take a breakfast in the morning. So what that does for with this school, they are more about inclusion and equity, and so they understand that students who are from a different culture, especially who are students who are from African American or Hispanic culture, they have a harder time of getting breakfast in the morning, and so they actually provide free breakfast for these students every morning. And so every student is required to take a breakfast, even if they don't want it or not. And then they do the Black National Anthem. The Black National Anthem, what that is to lift every voice and sing. And this is by the NAACP leader, James Weldon Johnson, and brother John Rosamond Johnson, and his brother. And so this song is sang every morning for the students. And what it does is kind of give them their own self-confidence of feeling like their own Black national anthem. This school is really geared for African American students, and so they really want to pinpoint and make them feel strong and empowered by their own national anthem, and make them feel empowered through who they are. And the lyrics of the song really shows their strength as a culture and as a race. Then number 3, the principal speaks on her expectations and vision for her students for the day and for the year. So every morning she addresses the students on on what she expects for the students for the day. They go ahead and do the motto, which is their motto is what I said before, is high expectation, choice and commitment, more time, focus on results and citizenship. And so the students are chatting that together as a reminder that this is how they're supposed to act for the day and for the rest of their lives. All right. So for multicultural education, it has the levels of integration of multicultural content. So what I've seen in the classroom, this is the 3 things that I saw, which was contribution approach, additive approach, and transformational approach. All right. So what contribution approach is categorized by the insertion of ethnic heroes and discrete cultural artifacts into the curriculum, selected using criteria similar to those used to select mainstream heroes and cultural artifacts. Thus, individuals such as Pocahontas, Martin Luther King Jr., Cesar Chavez, and Barack Obama are added to the curriculum. So, for example, Hazel Mahone, how do they utilize the contribution approach? Hazel Mahone implements the contribution approach in their curriculum by highlighting African American heroes throughout the school. In each section of the building, you will see pictures and short bios of leaders such as Arthur Ashe, Barack Obama, Oprah Winfrey, and Serena Williams. They are posted on the wall, and they are shown for the students so they can know who their African American leaders or who their leaders of color are. A little bio about them, and students learn that in their classroom as well, and so it is practiced in their curriculum for the instructors. And this is how they do contribution approach. This approach empowers students to understand their worth in America by teaching them about leaders who represent their culture. All right. And so now for the additive approach is the addition of a book, a unit, or a course to the curriculum without substantial change in the curriculum. Examples of this approach include adding a book such as The Color Purple to a unit on the 20th century in English class. So for Hazel Mahone, they implement Black authors to the school library for students to check out throughout the day. The instructors allow the students to read the novel for reading assignments inside and outside the classroom. The Black author provides insightful readings into the Black culture, and so this is an adaptive approach, meaning that students are they're not changing the curriculum and what they have to do for history, science, or anything like that. But they're providing students the additional information that might be that might not be the same for other public schools. And so this edition is more about their culture and who they are, and really knowing who Black authors are, and knowing that that's the opportunity for them if they want to be writers. And then the Black authors give them an insight about their own Black culture. A lot of times you can read like books like Charlotte's Web, and you can feel like, oh well, that doesn't really represent who I am. I don't live on a farm, or I don't really have animals or anything like that. But a Black author could talk about a Black student, a Black child, and a Black student can understand that and understand that lifestyle. It's really about meeting students where they're at. All right. So multicultural education. Then you also have the transformation approach. This changes the basic assumptions of the curriculum and enables students to view concepts, issues, themes, and problems from several ethnic perspectives and points of view. For example, Hazel Mahone utilized the transformation approach by providing students an opportunity to view issues through the perspective and points of views of their classmates and instructors. So Hazel Mahone has a population of about 85% of African American students and staff. Their discussions on particular issues is based off their own personal experiences, which comes from the which comes from an ethnic perspective. So because the campus is really geared for students of color, they're also geared for staff of color. And so the staff represents that ethnic opportunity. I'm sorry about that. But it really represents that ethnic opportunity of students to be able to to relate, right? And so now students have the opportunity to view perspectives and points of views from instructors from different cultures. And so now you have, not only do you have black, staff who are of color, you also have staff who are maybe white or Hispanic or whatever the case may be, and their points of view really matters about the discussion on particular issues, and about conversations that are going on in history or in math, or even like an issue that might be going on campus. And so the transformation approach is shown in the curriculum, and definitely when they're doing like a project, they're doing a class project, they can all talk about how can better suit who they are. Right. And so how can technology and instructional design illustrate this topic as a teaching tool in the context for education? Technology can illustrate or implement multicultural education by creating an online curriculum that will be inclusive for everyone, making assessments, subtopics, and adjustments that will benefit students from different culture, race, and religion. For example, instructional designers can create an online curriculum program that can assess students through learning abilities, through various comprehension and mathematical tests that will result in understanding their learning development. So if there's a learning disability that's presented in the test, then the online program will adjust the lesson based on their needs. This practice can be an effective teaching tool for instructors and students. And so knowing how the multi-education know about the multi-education and knowing how we can implement that into the schools. Using technology, we could design a software where we could assess students on what they are, and start adjusting the curriculum based off their needs. We can start adjusting them based on their culture, adjusting them based on their learning disability, adjusting them based on the project and what they want to do and how to lead them. And so that's the best thing about being about technology. It could be accepted to everyone. Everyone can use it. You can utilize it at home and after school. And so for instructional designers, we could create that and create that opportunity, which will allow students to be more effective in their learning and be able to support and to be able to close the achievement gaps, especially for students of color. Because a lot of times students are struggling in assessments, struggling in their classes, and if we could adjust it and make a curriculum that's online or something that would better fit them, then that would better help us as educators to better support them. Right? So that is my final project. I appreciate the semester and hope you guys enjoyed it. All right. Have a great holiday break. And also, my references. So these are my references right here. This is on Banks and J.A. Banks, Multicultural Education.